Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicholas Brown, and today I'm joined by someone who's been front and center in a major Point Park campus tradition. The face of this year's Day of Giving here at Point Park University is Austin Carnes. Last year, Day of Giving raised over $260,000 to support students, programs, and opportunities. And this year, Austin is helping lead the change to make it even bigger. And if that wasn't enough, he's also bringing something brand new to campus, the first ever live recording of his hit podcast, Two Jagoffs, in partnership with Point Park. Austin, welcome. Thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nick. I figured I'd hop on here with you before I go to IWC tonight. It's good to be with you.
So, for those who may not know you yet, I know you very well, given we are in good friends together. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're studying, your interests, and your kind of journey to Point Park.
Oh, well, you know me better than anybody, Nick. I am one of the busiest men out there. I am a rising senior at Point Park University. I am studying sports communications. I do a lot of broadcasting on the sides as well. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so I commentate for two different companies, both IWC and 880 Wrestling. Outside of that, I host Two Jagoffs, which you just mentioned before. The podcast I started 3 years ago. As of August 22nd, so we're going to be hitting our 3-year anniversary pretty soon. On the side, me and you also co-host Steel City Commuters, which is another podcast based out of Pittsburgh and Point Park University. And outside of that, I love dogs. So I work at a place called Friendly Paw Littles, where I'm a manager there. I've been there for about 3 years as well.
I
So
was gonna
pretty
say
busy guy.
you're a familiar face around campus, just given when we're always together on campus, there's a lot of people that we meet and greet, and you're just like the voice of Point Park. What are some of your favorite things about being part of the Point Park community in downtown and also, of course, the Point Park campus community?
Yeah, great question. I went to Carlington Junior High School when I was back in high school and stuff, and it was a really small school. It's a relatively small one. My graduating class was literally only 67 people. So being able to make that big jump from high school to community college, which was CCAC, to now Point Park, it is the one place where I actually feel like I truly fit in. I'm able to express myself as a wrestling fan. I'm able to express my love for sports, my passion for podcasting and pumping out content and grinding throughout the summer. So being able to be at Point Park University really has got me out of my shell more, has gave me more connections than I could ask for. And I got to be 100% honest with you, Nick. You see it a lot behind the scenes. Point Park University has opened up so many doors for me, and I feel like it's going to continue this year.
Off the top of your head, and I think we get this a lot too, if someone has never been to Point Park, never heard of Point Park, what's the first thing you tell them about our community?
Welcoming. The Point Park University is one of the most welcoming campuses you can imagine. I know I've talked to a lot of people, and some people has had different relationships at Point Park. Obviously, me and you are both commuters, so we both get the commuting aspect. We don't live on campus. We're not there full time. So I get down there, I do what I gotta do, and I come home. I handle my business and I leave. But when I am down there and when I am in class and when I am in these extracurricular activities, or I'm staying for sideline or I'm staying for WPPJ, it's welcoming. I've always felt welcomed. I've always felt like I was at home, and everybody has always accepted me, which I feel like is great. So my advice to some students that would be coming in would be just be yourself, because at the end of the day, everybody is welcoming. Everybody is there for the same reason, and that's to get a degree.
I've heard people describe Point Park as a place where everyone knows everyone. Do you
Mhm.
think that's true?
Yeah, I would say so, just because Point Park is a smaller campus compared to some of the other ones here in Pittsburgh. I mean, you got to remember there's the University of Pitt, there's Carlow, there's Duquesne, and there's Point Park. Those are like the big four in the city. Point Park's probably the smallest out of all four of them. I mean, Carlow's pretty small too in the sense that you kind of know everybody. But if you're a sports comm major, you know everybody in sports comm. If you're a dance major, you probably know everybody in dance. If you're a business major, you probably know everyone in business. Now, you may not know other majors unless you're involved in certain clubs and certain activities. So like me as a sports comm student, you as a broadcast reporting major may not know the dance students too well or the theater students too well. But if you run into them within campus or you live on campus with them, you kind of get to know everybody. You start to see some familiar faces. But it is still that college atmosphere where you will walk down the halls and you'll see a new person every single day. But overall, comparing Point Park to like other universities, yeah, no, it's pretty small. You definitely get to know everybody.
All right, let's talk about the big one, Day of Giving. You're front and
Yes.
center for this year's campaign, and there's no small role. How did you find out about that you were giving to be the face Day of Giving this year? Like you're going to be top notch, you're going to be like the spokesperson, the face of it. That's exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. It is exciting. And I got to give some credit to Angelo Gargaro, Bernie Ankney, and a lot of other of my good friends now that I like to say at Point Park University for blessing me with this opportunity because they put in a good word for me behind the scenes and offered if I would be interested in participating in Day of Giving. And I had no clue what it was leading up to it. I heard of it before, but again, I'm a commuter. I'm not really on campus as much as I should be. I'm only down there for my business and I leave. And when I was offered the position, it was what sold me right away was helping out students in need, helping out others. And I'm all for helping. I'm all for giving back to communities. I'm all for volunteering, giving that volunteer experience. And seeing that Point Park was putting on this charity event, this kind of like a nonprofit within Point Park, I thought was so cool. And the fact that they wanted me to be a spokesperson for it, go on social media, host a couple events, and just speak at some stuff about this event to hype it up, to give back to others. That's what sold me right away because I get to do what I love by putting out content, but I also get to raise money for a good cause.
What was your first reaction? Were you excited, nervous, maybe both? Because this is a big responsibility that I don't think a student has ever taken on before.
Yeah, no, I think I'm one of the, I think I might be the first current student that's doing it. I know there's been a couple other former students that hosted it, Kyle Archer being one of them, but I'm the first actual like enlisted student at Point Park University that's going to be tackling this event and being hands-on. Other students have helped volunteer and stuff, but like actually being the face of it and going full in on it, I'm pretty sure I'm the first one doing that. And I got to tell you this, I'm a little nervous just because again it's a lot of pressure, but at the same time I feel like it's no different than me calling a wrestling event, calling a basketball game, or even hopping on a podcast with you. At the end of the day, you just got to put yourself out there. You just got to go out there and do it. And being able to host this event again, I'm just forever blessed.
Last year's number, over 267,000, I think 418 gifts. That's incredible numbers. From your perspective, where does that money actually go and what kind of difference does it make?
It makes a big difference. It goes 100% back to the students. Me and you have been both blessed on winning scholarships, having opportunities to apply for grants, apply for student loans. That's what Day of Giving is all about. It's to help a student's journey, the Point Park University, be more easy, more affordable, and more comfortable. We saw the tuition raise this past year. That's something both me and you covered on our other podcast. A Day of Giving event like this opens up more opportunities for students to get money to help them chase a goal, chase a end goal in sight where they want to maybe get into a career, maybe get their degree, maybe move into Broadway, maybe move into the sports world. This is just one step closer to that. And being able to get that extra money takes a major weight off your shoulders. So Day of Giving is all about helping students in need.
Is there a particular part of Day of Giving that's most meaningful to you personally?
Just again, just knowing that I'm helping out others in need. So I'm all for helping out other people. So the fact that like I'm able to associate my name and my personal brand with Point Park and with Day of Giving and being able to look back on that and be like, hey, you helping out those students maybe helped 5 or 10 students who may not have got their degree actually achieve that, or maybe not got their job, actually get that. And being able to go to sleep at night knowing that you did what's right and knowing that you're helping others is more than you can ask for. So again, it's all about just helping people.
Let's talk about the behind the scenes because there's going to be a lot of prep leading up to the event, and then of course your podcast that we're going to eventually get to. Walk us through what's going to go on behind the scenes. What does the build up to Day of Giving look like from your side as you're being the face of it this year? There's a lot of it because we know Kyle Archer was host last year, and you kind of have to fill some big shoes here.
A lot of meetings and a lot of emails, I will say that. So I'm blessed to be working with Jill, Emily, and a lot of other people within the administrator's office, within the board at Point Park University. A lot of our top-notch folks here, Ted Black, Chris Prasalis, Bernie Ankney, all of them are heavily involved. And my job ultimately is to kind of hop on a team have to or meet them on the eighth floor of Academic Hall and just have like a half hour to 45-minute meeting every other week and kind of just present new ideas, talk about how we can make this better, how we can make this bigger, how we can market ourselves a little more, how we can put Day of Giving out there on social media even more. And we've already had 3 meetings since I found out about this. And now that we've officially gone public with it and this is officially in the works now, we can really start the planning process on how we're going to set this up long term. Again, Day of Giving goes all the ways into November, so there's still plenty of time to raise money. We're looking to shatter that goal this year, well over $300,000. But on my end of the stick, it's a lot of meetings, my friend. A lot of meetings.
Have you already started thinking about what you'll do if you beat last year's total? 267,000 is a lot, and you're committed to raising over 300,000. At least I know that's your goal. If you do, that's going to be amazing. But how are you going to feel? What are you going to think if you beat last year's total? Do you think that you're going to be the face and you actually made the difference?
I don't know if I would say necessarily I'm the face because again, there's so many different working parts here. There's so many people behind the scenes you got to give credit for. The people that helped set up all these events, Jill and Emily, who's even came up with this idea in the first place, the former Point Park alumni and the Alumni Foundation, who donate enough money as is already to help even put this event together. The people that works within the office, and of course the students at Point Park University who hyped this up, who rally it, who shared on social media. Those are the real pioneers here. Those are, no pun intended, those are the real ones that you should be giving the credit to, because if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for their support and their courageous attitude, this event wouldn't even be put together in the first place. So there's a lot of different people to give credit for. I, of course, would feel honored knowing that my name was associated with it, but I don't think it's ever going to be because of me. But I'll definitely be a key contributor.
Now, in the middle of all this day of giving excitement, you've made a big announcement. Your podcast, Two Jagoffs, is going live for the first time ever, and it's happening right here at Point Park University. For anyone who hasn't heard of it yet, what is Two Jagoffs? How would you describe it to someone who's never listened?
Well, it's in the name. It's Two Jagoffs. It's a podcast hosted by two Jagoffs here in Pittsburgh, and we talk about endless sports topics. Not even just sports, we also talk our day-to-day lives. It is a podcast that streams on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music twice a week, every Thursday and Sunday. Thursday is more of our weekly episode where we either talk NFL, NBA, WWE, WNBA, NHL, just pretty much all the sports topics all in one week. We also do special episodes every now and then, like a game show, a Lucas Carries, where Lucas takes over the episode, the co-host of Two Jagoffs, Ask Austin Anything, which is an episode where fans send in questions. And then my personal favorites, an idea that we adopted earlier this year, is the interviews where we bring on different guests with different backgrounds. And we've had the privilege of having 25 plus guests on over the last year and a half. We've had politicians, we've had athletes, we've had Point Park alumni, Point Park students, student athletes, so many different people from so many different backgrounds coming on and sharing their stories. So, Two Jagoffs is a unique podcast in the sense that it literally was started in the corner of my bedroom and has now grown on 4 different platforms and has over 6,000 listeners, which I am forever blessed for. But Two Jagoffs has been probably my most prized possession over the last couple of years, and being able to make the announcement of having it come to Point Park University has been a true honor.
Looking back to the early days of Two Jagoffs, because you've surely come a long way, lots of episodes, lots of guests. Do you remember the first time you've gotten feedback from someone you didn't personally know? If so, how'd you take it? How did you embrace that feedback? Did you personally change with that feedback?
Well, the first feedback that I really gotten was actually before I even started the podcast, and that was with my good friend Albie Oxenreiter. I was blessed enough to win the Carnegie Collier Rotary Scholarship for the last 4 years, and my first year receiving that award was at the Country Club in Nevillewood. And one of the spokespersons there, one of the donors, was actually Albie Oxenreiter himself. And when he found out that there was a sports broadcaster going to be there or a student going into sports broadcasting, he was ecstatic. He was excited. He wanted to meet me. So he came and sat at the table with me and my mother, with my mother and my father, and he gave me all the advice in the world. He shared his story, he shared his journey, he told me how he got into his career and how I could do that. And he said, "Do you have any ideas on how you're going to put yourself out there now that you're going into college?" And I told him that I had this idea of starting a podcast and I wanted to call it Two Jagoffs and I wanted to get his opinion on it. And his validation right there is saying that he loved it. He laughed about it. He said, "That right there is going to put yourself out there because you call yourself a Jagoff, right? You call your dad a Jagoff. You call your buddies Jagoffs. All you guys on a podcast being Jagoffs together is being yourself. And being yourself and putting yourself out there is what's going to get noticed. And that's what's going to get you some traction." And it took a little while. It took about a year and a half until we really started seeing some growth. But once we added social media into it, once we brought in some new co-anchors, once we started doing the interviews, upgrading our equipment, moving to Point Park, moving to our new Jagoff studios over at my grandma's house, we really started to upgrade a lot of different things. So he was the first real validation. But if you want some real feedback that I got when I actually started the podcast from someone I didn't know, the first big one was hearing back from students that I never really talked to at Carlington and them reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I saw your podcast," or "Hey, I saw your social media promo. Nice job. It's nice to see your growth. It's nice to see that you're succeeding outside of high school." Now, even though I technically knew who they were, I didn't know them at all. I wasn't friends with them. I never talked to them. I just knew the name just because I graduated with them or I went to school with them. So getting that validation from them was really cool too.
Now let's talk about the podcast growth and memorable moments before we get to the live event because Two Jagoff as you've been describing, it's come a long way. Do you have a favorite episode or guest so far
Mhm.
that you've done, given how many episodes have you done? It's quite a
Well
long
over
track
400.
record. Okay. Favorite episode or guest?
Easily Andrew Palace. I always say that. He's my go-to guy. I've known Andrew for years, even before I got into the wrestling business, just by knowing him as a fan at IWC and other various local indie events. His episode was one of my personal favorites because both of us had chemistry. Both of us were able to bounce ideas off of each other. Our love for professional wrestling really showed in it. The jabs, the back and forth banter, the pickle segment, all that stuff was just hilarious. And Palace gave us so much to work with. He's even came back and done other social media promos for us. He may even be back down the line helping us with two Jagoffs again. Palace is a great guy. I always love that episode. I'll throw out another one. I love the Super Bowl specials we do every year. Every year we try and get an all-star panel and we cover the Super Bowl. It's usually about an hour, hour and a half long episode. Me, my dad, Lucas. Last year was Jack. And we just try and talk all things Super Bowl, whether it's the halftime show, commercials, the games leading up to it. It's not just the game itself, it's the overall culture of the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is one of my favorite times of year, so I love being able to talk about that. And if you want another funny episode as well, I'll give you another one of our more recent interviews. I had a lot of fun with the Wes Barkley interview because again, the wrestling perspective was there, the growth that we saw, the numbers spiked with two Jagoffs as well. It was just a fun episode. So a lot of our interviews stand out to me, but Palace probably was my favorite.
Do you plan everything out or just let the conversation flow? In podcasting, there's the debate that you have to plan everything out with the guests and you want to make sure that you get to know the guests behind the camera before you get to interview, or do you just kind of let the conversation flow? Is it that easy, really?
It is that easy. It really is. I used to overthink it a lot. I used to try and plan out everything. I would have a little notepad with every single question written out, and I would try my best to like make sure I fit every question in. And it worked. It still sounded pretty good. You got to know the guest, but it didn't feel that natural. It felt like I was trying to force a lot of the stuff. So I started to take advice, and I know he's a controversial figure, but Joe Rogan is the best podcaster out there. There's no denying it. And Rogan has such a great conversational flow with every single guest he brings on. He doesn't have a notepad there. He's well informed. He does his homework. He knows the guest in and out, but it's the follow-up questions that matters. It's the, "Oh, really? Tell me more about this." Or, "Oh, wow, I did not know that. Can you explain? Can you elaborate?" Those are the kind of questions that makes the conversation feel real. It feels natural. And again, that's why I love the Palace interview so much because I didn't have a single note prepared for it. I did my research beforehand. I knew who Andrew Palace was going into it. I did my homework, but I didn't necessarily need to keep looking down for notes and keep looking down for references. So once you get it down packed, I would say it's pretty easy because again, you got to be comfortable and confident within yourself. If you're not confident within yourself, it's not going to go well. If you're not confident within the guest, it's not going to go well. But I like to have icebreaker questions. I like to talk to them before the podcast even goes live. I like to get myself comfortable before I even hit that record button because if I just shake their hand, sit them down, and hit record, it's not going to feel real and natural. They're not going to feel welcomed. You want to make sure they're welcomed.
Let's talk about the big one. You have to save the best for last in every interview. You have to go out
Yep.
with a hard hitter, the live podcast at Point Park. I think this is what we're all excited for. I'm excited. I definitely will be there. How did the idea for a live two Jagoffs podcast show on campus come about? Did you just have that idea? Is that what you've always wanted to do?
Yes, I got big inspiration from my man Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee hosted a live charity show earlier this year called Big Night Out. He was really putting in the Pittsburgh emphasis there. And it was a live event hosted at PPG Paints Arena where he brought in celebrities, he brought in athletes, he brought in a lot of the Pittsburgh greats like Crosby and Skeens and Roethlisberger. And he put together this big event where they were giving out stuff all night. They raised a bunch of money for different Pittsburgh organizations and charities and nonprofits. And I thought to myself, why can't I do something like that with two Jagoffs, but at Point Park? We have all the outlets there. We have the playhouse. We have all the video equipment. We have the students that's studying to get into a live show like this. Why can't we put something together like that to help others in need? And I sat on the idea for a while. I presented it to a couple different people and they loved it, but they didn't know the direction. So when I was approached with Day of Giving and they asked me, "Austin, do you think of an event that we can put on that students would be interested in going to that we can raise money for?" I immediately thought of the live podcast. I was like, let's do Two Jagoffs live. Two Jagoffs is a household name. We know it pretty well around campus. We've done most of our interviews out of Point Park University and with people from Point Park. Why not we bring it down there and we make it all about charity? We can bring on different guests. I can bring on maybe some former two Jagoffs guests. We could bring in some new ones, some Point Park alumni, some donors, President Brusalis, Ted Black, you name it. We could put something fun together. Even Kyle Archer, who's a friend of two Jagoffs, he's hosted it last year. Maybe we can do a small segment with him. There's a lot of different ideas and moving parts, but just knowing that my creative mind paired with the outlets that Point Park has and the connections they have, I feel like we can put together a very special event, and I'm really looking forward to it.
What can people expect at the live event? Will it be similar to like how your normal episodes are recorded, or will you kind of add some new elements?
Expect a lot of Jagoff shenanigans. If you're a two Jagoffs fan, you are going to absolutely love this. Exactly, you're one of them. You're going to expect a lot of the shenanigans that we have on our social media promos, that we have within our episodes. Who knows, we may even see some returning guests. But for those who have never tuned in, expect to see a creative young mind in me being able to present a lot of different ideas for a better cause. Expect a lot of a lot of older guests coming on and sharing their experiences with Point Park, with Day of Giving, and expect this to be a charity event. Again, I don't want to completely treat this like it's just a podcast. I want to make sure that we're helping out a cause that's in need. It's going to be 2 hours of fun. We're going to have a lot of different guests, a lot of different segments, and expect some giveaways too. If you come to the event and you buy a ticket, you might even walk away with a prize.
Prizes, I'm definitely in. Will the audience get to kind of interact with you guys during your live panel? Will there be Q&A session time available? Because I know a lot of these live events, people that attend always like to, meet the hosts, get pictures and with different guests, and of course the host of this. Will there be time for that? A lot of time?
Absolutely. So this we're still in the planning phases of this. We don't even have an exact date yet. We're still looking for end of October most likely as when this will be, but the ultimate goal is to have like a happy hour event kind of right before like right when we open doors, so like an hour before the show even starts, people have a chance to mingle, get drinks, get food, maybe donate a little bit, go look at some of the tables that we have set up and some of the vendors. And then there'll be an intermission period as well, again, where you can mingle with some people, you can possibly meet some of the guests, possibly meet me as well if you wanted to. And then I was thinking throughout the show, if we have time for it, do like a live Ask Austin Anything. Of course, keeping that two Jagoffs culture there. We've done Ask Austin Anything multiple times on the podcast. Why not do a live in studio version with the live guests that actually paid their tickets to be there? So there's a lot of different ideas with getting the audience involved. We're going to be giving stuff away throughout the night as well to the guest that's there as well. So the crowd will definitely be involved in this. It's going to be a hyped event.
This will probably be the most hard-hitting question of this interview. Well, all my questions are hard-hitting, but I
Uh-uh.
have to ask this. Any special guests or surprises you can possibly tease for the audience?
Let's just say this. I can't give names, but if you have watched two Jagoffs over the last 2 years, expect at least three or four of those guests returning for this event and expect some brand new ones as well. So I can't reveal any names just yet. I will say this. President Brusalis will be there, a lot of the Point Park board will be there, and yours truly will be there. Outside of that, though, you'll just have to wait and see.
What's your biggest hope for this or for how this event will be remembered? I know this is going to be a one-time thing. We're hoping it's not a one-time thing, but also when you start something, when you start like a live recording, you hope that you get to return and come back. What's the biggest hope of it all? Takeaway, I should say.
The biggest takeaway is again to raise as much money as we can for Day of Giving. At the end of the day, as much as I love being able to put my brand and put my podcast out there and partner with Point Park University and getting full creative control and being able to have a lot of different moving parts here, my end goal is to really raise as much money as we can. I want to go out there and I want to leave a legacy. I want to go out there and leave a mark and say, hey, listen, at the end of the day, we had a lot of fun. We made lots of memorable moments. But the real thing that we're going to look back on is the fact that we raised all that money for all those students. And that's really what I want to look back on.
I know we're getting to the final, to the closing of this interview, but really want to look ahead real quick. What's next for Two Jagoffs after this live panel?
Well, the hope is to get monetized. That's the real hope for Two Jagoffs is to hopefully monetize the podcast so we can put out even more content and maybe even upgrade equipment even more. But the end goal for two Jagoffs going forward is to bring on more guests, to look ahead for the NFL season. NFL is the biggest time of year for us on two Jagoffs, so there'll be a lot more NFL content, and maybe upgrade some of our social media. Social media has been popping off recently, so who knows? Maybe we'll put promos and stuff.
And outside of podcasting, what's one big thing you want to accomplish before graduating from Point Park? Because if I remember correctly, you are a senior this year.
Mhm. I am a senior. One thing that I would like, well, my main goal before I graduated Point Park was to originally be a broadcaster for a wrestling company, and I've already done that twice over. So that goal is already checked off of the bucket list. But my biggest goal before I graduate Point Park and get my bachelor's degree is to ultimately hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube for Two Jagoffs. We have over 6,000 listeners across 4 different platforms, but YouTube is what we just started. I would love to grow the YouTube channel a little bit more. I would love to get more subscribers over there.
And of course, final question here. Thanks because of the time crunch today. How can someone like myself, other Point Park parents, professors can donate to this day of event giving?
Yeah, so Day of Giving actually has its own website with Point Park University. Just look up Point Park University Day of Giving donations, and it'll take you to their Day of Giving official website. There'll also be QR codes posted all over campus for students that want to donate. I don't think this isn't about students donating. This is more for faculty and staff and for outsiders that's donating. But there will be stuff all around campus if you do want to donate or throw there. I don't encourage students to do this, so because at the end of the day, this event is for the students. It's not for the students to give back to. So if you are someone that's outside, like a parent, maybe a business owner, or maybe someone that just wants to help out students in need, just go to dayofgiving.com. You can donate as much as you want, as little as you want. Every dollar, every penny counts. It's going to a good cause. There'll also be links in all my descriptions going forward too once we start putting out more Day of Giving content. So if you just head over to my personal socials or two Jagoff socials, there'll probably be a link there as well.
Austin, thanks so much. This has been a blast. You're doing so much to make this year's Day of Giving exciting and to bring something brand new to campus with the live Two Jagoff show. I will be there front row and center. To everyone watching, remember last year our Point Park community raised more than 267,000 in just one day. I'm pretty sure we can do it again given Austin's following. Maybe we can probably even beat it. I have no doubt that we will beat it. Whether it's donating, sharing the campaign online, or coming out to events like the live podcast, of course, your support makes the real difference for all of us, Austin and myself included. Austin, thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you, chat with you whenever. And I think I speak for everyone. And when I say we can't wait to see what you pull off next, we're really excited to see what this Two Jagoffs show does and to see where Two Jagoffs goes in the future.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate you hopping on the Zoom call with me. Excellent questions as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And I will catch you all next time.